Hi, my name is Jon Hinds, owner and founder of the Monkey Bar Gymnasium, and I'm also the inventor of the Power Wheel. I invented the Power Wheel back in 1997 as a way to develop upper body power. I didn't really see anything out there that did anything like this. Most of the things that people did, for example, for developing power or strength in the upper body was doing a bench press. And I saw one day in USA Today, Lyle Alzado working with a really well-known strength coach, Dr. Fred Hatfield. Hatfield was holding his feet. Lyle Alzado was jumping across the sand at Venice Beach. And without question, it's a very powerful exercise. And it just made me think of, well, if you want to develop that kind of power and make it quantifiable, then you really need to have your feet on something that would be pulled along instead of having somebody basically push you along. So I put a wheel between my feet and put my feet on some plates, basically actually using my old mountain bike tire. And what it created was incredible power for the upper body, just like I thought, but it really created incredible core strength and stability, because being on the wheel, it causes instability in all directions. And what we want as athletes, as people trying to develop a lot of core strength, is we want to have the whole body engaged. If it's not engaged, then you're truly not working core strength. You're working sectional strength, which isn't how we perform in real life. So when the wheel is on your hands, which mine can do, or you put it on your feet, which mine can do, it puts you in that extended position in an unstable environment, which causes the whole body to work together to connect every aspect of your body together, which causes ultimate core strength. This was proven by University of California at Berkeley in a test that they did, that they compared the Power Wheel to all different types of abdominal exercises and core exercises and machines, everything they could think of. And the Power Wheel won hands down on developing core strength for upper, lower abdominals and obliques as well. It works because it just puts you in that extended position in its unstable environment. It's very simple. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to use the Power Wheel from a very basic level to a very high level that might be used for high-level athletes, Olympians, Tour de France champions, and all different types of high-class, world-class athletes. So what we'd like to start with is I'm going to show you a couple ways to use the Power Wheel on your hands, then a couple ways to use the Power Wheel on your feet, and then we'll do the progressions, and then we're going to go through a couple simple tests that we like to do. Now we're going to show you how to use the Power Wheel on your hands, and we're going to start out with some really basic exercises. Luckily, I have one of my head trainers, Jessica Rucker here, is going to help me out, and she's going to show you how to do a Power Wheel wall rollout. Now Jessie actually came up with this idea because a lot of students, when they start out using the Power Wheel, they lack the ability to hold the wheel close to their body. Basically, they get in this position and they have a hard time controlling it in, so they might go to their belly. So what we want is, what she thought of was, why not put a wall in front of you so that the wheel can't roll out, and they begin to learn how to engage properly. So, smart man that I am, I listened to her. So let's get Jessie lined up. This is most important. Line the body up before you even start any movement. From the knees to her head, we want a straight line. Boom, right there. So she's long and extended through the top of her head. From her hands to her shoulders, we want a straight line. The wrists are straight, the elbows are straight, the shoulders are wide. Then from here, she's engaged here and here in the belly, because when you're engaged in these 2 points, it keeps your hips in a neutral position. Now I'm going to intentionally have Jessie show you what is not correct position. So if she collapses her back, this is really common when people do not know how to properly engage the midsection or their core of their body. So the lower back will collapse, this will turn off here, and then for sure the abs are turned off. So we want to engage those 2 points and get her back to neutral in the hips. Now she's in a safe position to train, okay? Because she engaged those 2 points. The shoulders are wide, the arms are straight, the wrists are straight. That's a real important one as well. So now just holding this basic position, this is step number 1 for all people. Can they do this? Once they get this nailed, then we like to do a 1-inch rollout away from the wall. So then they have to pull back good. and then slowly roll it back out to lightly touch the wall. Just do that for reps. Now, as she's doing this, she's maintaining all those points that we were just talking about. She's engaged here, her abs are engaged, her shoulders are wide. She's keeping her arms straight from the wrist all the way through the shoulders. So that's step one. So now we're going to stop, and Jessie's going to move the wheel back about 6 inches, and then she's starting all over because now she has the ability to hold the wheel, so she's going to start about 6 inches from the wall. Same lines, straight arms, straight body, engaged, engaged. Now she's going to roll out. We'd like to call this just a 6-inch wall rollout. She's going to lightly touch the wall and then roll it back in just short of being directly underneath the shoulders. That's a 6-inch wall rollout. Once she's good from there, then we're going to move it back to about a 1-yard rollout. Now, before she even gets started, it's really important that you don't overextend yourself on these exercises. As great as this is, it can be very hard on your body if you don't maintain your alignment. So I would much rather you go shorter range than bigger range with poor alignment. You know, keep the range short, really stay engaged, and you'll get much more benefit from it than putting yourself out there in a long extended position that you might not be able to hold properly. So take your time with each of these stages and really nail it before you move on to the next one. So now we're going to do a 1-yard rollout. Same exact thing, straight line, straight line. So now Jessie's rolling out, keeping those shoulders wide as she goes, staying engaged here and in the belly. Perfect. One more time. Perfect, and relax. So now Jessie just did holding it against the wall, step 1. A 1-inch rollout, step 2. A 6-inch rollout, and then a 1-yard rollout. Those are more advanced. Now the most advanced for being on your feet is when she's going to do an alternate pause and then eventually a full body rollout. These are extremely hard exercises. What we want to achieve from those is no movement side to side. And then for sure, when you do a full body rollout, you have to maintain full body alignment really strong. That's a very high level exercise. Okay, now for a really high level rollout, we're going to do what we call an alternate pause. Again, Jessie could use the wall as a reference mark if she wants, but we're not going to do that. She's going to roll about 6 inches out, and then she's going to extend one leg to straight, put it back down, the other leg to straight, put it back down, and then roll the wheel back in. The key to doing this successfully is not shifting her weight side to side. So when you roll it out, Jessie, go ahead and roll it out 6 inches, pause, straighten one leg, good, put it down, straighten the other leg, put it down, good, and then roll the wheel back in. Keep doing this. As she's doing this, she has to maintain those points of engagement. We don't want that side-to-side shift of weight. Then you're counterbalancing and you're not creating that really strong stabilization, what we want in the core. And that's the power wheel alternate pause. You can do it at 1 inch, you can do it 6 inches, you can do it really far out. Again, though, I'd rather you keep the range short and really give maximal impact with great alignment rather than put yourself at risk and really roll it out far. So that's the different levels that you can do with the wheel on your hands. Next, we're going to be putting the wheel on our feet and show you a bunch of different exercises, both face down and face up. Okay, now we're going to show you how to use the power wheel on your feet. If you have a partner to help you out, that'll make it easier. What I like to do is I just hold the wheel for my partner. They put their toes about 1 inch deep through the straps, Velcro it down, then pull the rubber tube around to the back of the foot, around the back of the ankle there. Now she's locked in. It's pretty safe, good to go. How I like to start people on doing the supine exercises or face up is I like to have them bring their feet in. Now, one of the reasons why I really love using the power wheel in this position here is because almost all people have tightness in their hips, tightness in their back. They have the rounded back. So what we can do right here with this exercise is open up the hips, engage the backs of the legs like crazy, and then that creates more balance in the body, relieves a lot of pressure off your back, and you can really heal back pain really, really well with just this simple exercise. You also, by working your arms properly into the ground, activate the backside muscles of the upper body as well, so therefore you open up the shoulder area as well. Both areas are common amongst all people to have tightness. Tight hips, tight back, lots of pain. This exercise opens the body up and relieves the pain just like that. It's called supine bridge hold. Basically, Jessie's rolling the wheel in as far as she can, and then from here, she's going to put her arms in a 90-degree bent position. She's going to push the back of her arms down into the floor, and then she's going to push against the plates, but she's going to do so without letting the wheel roll out. So all I want her to do is lift her hips up high by pushing her shins forward. This is just a supine bridge hold. We do this in our Aishin's yoga all the time, and we do it off the floor. Doing it with the power wheel makes it that much more intense because you have that instability and the wheel wants to roll out, so it forces you to pull it back in, thus really engaging the back sides of the legs, which opens the hips. She's working the arms into the ground, which opens the shoulders. Hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds and then relax, and you might want to do a couple sets of that. When you stand up, you're going to feel amazing. You're really going to open the hips. So that's the first exercise we like to do. The second one, then we like to start to get some movement into it. So we like to roll the legs all the way out to a fully extended position and then pull the wheel back in. This is just a leg curl. Now, a lot of people might find that they get cramping in the backs of the leg, which just tells you have imbalance there in the hips. And if they have a cramping, then we want to let them put some more weight on the ground. And just going through the movement is step one. Step two is Jessie's going to lift her hips just 1 inch off the ground and continue the same movement. Extend all the way to full and pull the wheel back in. Now she's really engaging the backs of her legs, but she's still working the upper body as well. So she's getting that openness happening a lot. Now, so this is a 1 inch lift leg curl. The next level up is taking her hips from 1 inch to 6 inches as she's curling the wheel in. So she rolls it out, her hips drop. As she's curling it back in, her hips raise. So she's staying in really good alignment as she's pulling the wheel in. This is very hard to do. Jessie's just making it look really easy, but to lift that high as you're doing this exercise, that's cool, Jessie. To lift that high as you're doing it is very, very challenging. So first off, we got to hold the supine bridge. Second, we did the 1 inch lift. Then we did a 1 to 6 inch lift, so your hips are lifting as you're curling it in. The most intense is a plyo curl. So I like to start with that supine bridge hold, lift the hips 1 inch off the ground. And for this one, if you want to put your hands more down on the ground like this, totally cool, because you're going to need extra stabilization here. So what Jessie's going to do is she's going to take her legs out and in real quick and hold. Go. 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 One more. Go. Good, and relax. That's called a power wheel plyo curl. It's really dynamic in nature. You should only do it if you're at a higher level and you've been training this exercise for many months, because it's so dynamic and we want the hips in a more balanced position before you start really popping the fast reps off. That's how we progress everything, from a static to a slow movement, and then we add more speed to it. So that is doing power wheel curl type exercise in a supine position. Next, we're going to flip over and we're going to do some exercise in a prone or face down position that I just love, and that are the reason why I even invented the power wheel in the first place. These are the ones that develop insane core strength. So all we're going to do now is just flip over onto our belly. And what Jessie's going to do is she's just going to get up into an inclined plane position. This is the top of a push-up position. She's going to keep her body nice and straight from her head through her heels. And again, just like when she was in that roll-up position, can she engage here and engage here? Not only that, but we want her alignment really strong. Now, Jessie, show them for a second what's real common with people's alignment. The neck collapses, the lower back collapses. Now, come back out of that. We don't want to hold that. So lift here again and lift here. Just holding this position here is very, very challenging, because she has to work those weak areas of her body. And not just in a balanced position, her feet are on the power wheel, so she still has to be pulling in. She has to be balancing in all directions. So she's gaining maximum core stabilization in a very safe environment. Heck, she could even put the wheel up close to the wall, just like we did with the rollouts, so that she has more control of it. And then as she gets better, she moves a little bit away from the wall, and now she's totally stabilizing on her own. I'm going to let her rest for a second. Okay, next, what we're going to do is take the power wheel and take it from that static inclined plane hold that we just did into movement. And Jesse's going to show some of the basic exercise that we love to do with the power wheel when people have gotten the base down of holding it. Next is maybe a simple exercise of knees to elbows. So she's just going to roll the wheel in, basically keep her back as flat as possible, and bring those knees all the way in till they touch the elbows. You can do it off at angles too, so maybe her right knee would touch her left elbow, and then vice versa. So this gets a little bit of a spinal twist to it. Next one we're going to do is what we call a pike up. Now, she wants to roll the wheel in as far as possible while lifting her hips up to the sky as high as possible. When she does that, that's great range. You're going to also bring your head back completely to that inclined position. A lot of times when people do this, they'll keep their head down. Alignment is key on all of these exercises. As you can see with her head down, she has that roundness of her back here. So we want to lift the head as she's coming out of it, lift the head. So we're engaged here, so we build strength. The core is not just the belly. The core is the whole body's alignment and how it is all integrated together. Relax for a second. This is a big point. Most people think of just working the core, and that's this little area right here. What we really try and stress is, yes, we're going to get that area because it is so important for all movements to have the ability to become rigid and react really strong in this midsection of your body. But that whole reaction doesn't just happen here. It happens from when your foot touches the ground to the moment your hand maybe throws a ball or throws a punch or hits a baseball or something like that. That whole body connection comes through strong alignment and the ability to stabilize quickly. The power wheel does that like nothing else, but keeping that alignment really, being really aware with your alignment makes a huge difference. Whether you're doing push-ups or you're preparing for a sports activity, focus on the alignment of it, and then let's get you in an unstable environment which creates more stability so that whenever you do whatever activity it is, you're more prepared. So what Jesse just did, knees to elbow, great exercise. Next one is a pike up. Those are perfect for staying in more of a stationary position, but we're creating some movement. The next one that we want to do is crawling. So Jesse's just going to crawl a little bit forward and then a little bit backwards, and then we're going to do some left-right crawling as well. So we're going to start out in that inclined plane position again. Fingers are forward, and Jesse's just going to crawl forward a little bit. While she's doing this, we want everything to stay rigid. Okay, stop. Now go backwards. Stop right there for a second, Jesse. Now, show them what happens when people crawl when they're loose. If you're loose in all these different areas, they'll crawl basically like a walrus. See the collapse in the neck, see the locking out of the arms and the collapse of the lower back. Let's stop there. I'm not a big fan of having Jessie kill herself by doing the exercise incorrectly. So you see what's incorrect on that exercise and see how many collapses you can get. Stay engaged, do the exercise shorter range then, but do it right. And then you can progress it much stronger down the long run. So keep the hands straight ahead, keep the body engaged and nice and taut. I like to think of basically you're like a board. Keep that body rigid. That's what helps us react to situations quicker. The quicker you can react, the better your performance. So that is a basic crawl forward and backwards. Next, Jessie's going to do the same thing. She's going to crawl to her left. While she does this, you want to keep the wheel in the same exact place the whole time. Now crawl to your right. She's making this look really easy, but it's a very hard exercise. Crawling forward, crawling backwards, crawling to your left, crawling to your right, all put you in different planes of instability, thus gaining more stability for you. So that's some of the more basic exercises. Next, I'm going to show you some of the more advanced exercises using the power wheel on your feet in the prone position. Okay, now I'm going to show you some of the more advanced exercises. These exercises, I only suggest for you to do them unless you've had some time training on the more basic ones that Jessie was showing earlier. They're all just faster, they're more dynamic in nature, they take more stabilization throughout your whole body to do. And so make sure you do the first levels before you start any of these. So I'm going to get into that same inclined plane position that Jessie was in. I want to keep my body nice and straight. And a real great one to do that looks simple, but it's very hard. We call it a rocker. You just roll the wheel back and then bring it forward. The thing about this movement is I'm not moving very far, but right about here, whoa, very hard exercise to maintain. Your lower back can collapse, so keep the range a little bit shorter, and I'd rather have you do more reps than go too far and collapse. Very important not to let your body collapse in these exercises. So that's a real hard one. It's called a rocker. After that, what we did was we did some crawls in different directions. I'm going to do the same exact thing, except now instead of walking, I'm running. So it's going to look a little bit like this. Forward, backwards. That stop is really challenging. Now I'm going to go sideways, laterally quick. Other way. Whew. Those are challenging. That speed adds much more stabilization to your whole body, really forces you to engage quickly, which for sport is what you want. You really need that. So for most people though, you're doing it just to gain base core strength. No need to run, just do the really basic exercises really strong. So then it applies to shoveling, it gives you strength for that, pushing a car, throwing the garbage out, doing whatever activities, it gives you the really good strong base core strength. I'm talking also so I can sort of delay and let myself recover a little bit. So that's crawling, the second step, adding speed to it by running. The highest level of crawling is jumping. So I'm going to do that now. Jump forward, backwards, do a little bit side to side as well. And this is really, really the hardcore stuff here. Sideways. Very, very challenging exercises. Very sport specific. Linemen, boxers, any athlete where you have a very powerful movement with your hands needs that backup of strength through the core of your body. So that if I'm popping someone, an opponent, if I'm boxing, hitting a baseball, hitting a tennis ball, all of these require real quick, dynamic movements. The power wheel jumps will do that big time for you. Really maximal contractions in your whole body's core to strengthen it big time. So those are the progressions for crawling, holding it, walking. Jesse did those. I just did running and then I did jumping. So you can progress no matter what level you are. Those will work fine for you. The next ones that I'm going to do is a progression from Jesse did pike ups and knees to elbows. So all I'm going to do to those is add a little push up on them. This exercise here, knees to elbows, you can do a push up with it. You can call it a turbo push up. You're incline plane again. You do the knees to elbows. You come back to straight. Nice exercise. You're getting a lot of core development in there as well as a lot of upper body strength. Next exercise I can do is a pike up push up. Same thing Jesse did so well. I'm going to be here in incline plane again. I'm going to pike up as high as I can. Bring my body back to the end incline and push up. And that's a pike up push up. Next level of that exercise is walking up a set of stairs. Yes, a set of stairs. That's a really hard exercise. Wasn't that interesting how I did that? Anyways, you walk your hands up and then you literally got to pike and pull the wheel up to the next level. Walk your hands up, pull the wheel up to the next level. It's very, very hard exercise going up. It's actually harder going back down the stairs because you have to let the wheel with control go back down. And then you got to walk your hands down. If you don't have the control here, the wheel will go down and you're going to pancake on your belly. So that exercise is a very, very high level one. The pike ups up the stairs, very, very challenging. Only do that if you've had a good amount of time under your belt using the power wheel. After doing the turbo push-ups or the pike up push-ups, another exercise with the push-up in is the alligator push-up. This one starts to get the body rotating a lot, and it's a lot more like doing a one-arm push-up. So we're here in inclined plane, we're taking a step, do a push-up, as well as going forward, you're going to go backwards. And that particular exercise, one of our favorite workouts is the 60-yard workout, where we'll integrate alligator push-ups with maybe chin-ups or something like that in alternating fashion. And your goal is to do 60 yards of alligator push-ups in as few sets as possible. I'll challenge you to try this one. Try and get 15 yards a set of push-ups. Might take you about 25, 27 push-ups to do it, but I guarantee you to kick your butt. Okay, now that I've had a nice little recovery time, I'm going to show you an exercise that my good friend Brian Bailey, who's a high-level collegiate strength coach, told me he had all his players do from his national championship football team he was strength coach for. It was a 40-yard inchworm with the power wheel. Very, very brutal exercise, very high level. What you're going to do is you're going to do an old-fashioned inchworm, which goes like this. We're in inclined plane. You roll the wheel in, walk the hands out without the wheel rolling backwards. So I might go 20 yards forward and then walk my hands back and then roll the wheel out. That's an inchworm. Very challenging because there's so much movement in it, but yet you need a lot of control in your body so the wheel doesn't roll while you're walking your hands. Now, those are some really awesome high-level exercises. Next, I'm going to show you just some fun ones to do that may be a little more high-level as well, but they're different. They're a lot different than the norm. The next one I like to do is a headstand, where this one takes a lot of time. I recommend you start pretty close to a wall so that you don't flip over. You're just going to do it real slow and controlled, and then you're going to do a pike up or knees to elbow, and then you're going to put your head on the ground, and then do a leg lift. So you're getting quite a bit of work done here from the top of your head literally to the heels of your feet. So I might crawl, I might do a knees to elbow, I might do a pike up. Any of those are fine to lead into it, but I'm crawling. I'm slowly going to put my head on the ground, and then I'm going to bring the wheel in close. From here, keep those palms flat and slowly lift the wheel up to that extended position, and then we're slowly bringing it back down with control. This is very important to do it with control. And if I want to rep it out, maybe do 5 to 10 reps. And then I bring it down and then slowly come back to the inclined plane and then maybe walk again for another 5 yards. This exercise for sure is more based for grappling type competitors. Those of you that might be on your heads a lot, not necessarily like if you're at home or something like that. This isn't an exercise for you. It's too high a level, and I don't think it's really necessary to develop a lot of neck strength for you. This is for football players. This is for wrestlers, for MMA fighters. They need that neck strength and stability. They need that full core strength. They need the ability to extend the hips. All three of those come into play on this exercise. Make sure you start out real slow with it though, because it is quite challenging. The next ones also are sort of in that realm as well. I'm going to start out with inclined plane, and I'm going to do a forward roll, and I'm going to do some leg curls then, and then I'm going to do a backward roll. So I'm here, maybe I'm doing knees to elbows again, or pike ups or crawling, and then I'm just going to put my shoulder on the ground and roll forward into the leg curl position here. Leg curls, maybe I'll do 10, and then I'm putting my arms out, and I'm rolling backwards. Pike ups maybe. putting my shoulder down, and then I'm rolling the wheel forward again, nice and smooth. Leg curls again. Then maybe I crawl. Those are some pretty cool movement-based exercises with the power wheel. You're getting the rolling forward, the rolling backwards, the hip extension with the leg curls. I'm getting the core work with the crawling pike-ups or rockers, whatever I want to do in that part. So now you can start to mix and match them. So now we've covered all the basics from beginner to intermediate to advanced power wheel exercises, basically from stationary to movement to dynamic movement. Make sure you get one level secure and strong at it before you move to the next. How you can now take high level or power level, what we call at my gym, power wheel exercises to the next level is by adding some form of resistance. That might be a weight vest. That might be using some tubing around the handles maybe on the power wheel. That might be using a sandbag on the back of your legs. There's many different forms that you can apply resistance to, but one my sister just came up with a while ago, which I thought is beautiful, is partner-resisted power wheel exercises. Jesse and I are going to show you just a couple ways that you can do these. Julie likes to call them Romeo and Juliets, which is a pretty nice name. People helping each other to get stronger and developing a lot of core strength through a mutual challenge. So what Jesse and I are going to do, we're going to start out and just show you a couple simple ones to do. Maintain your alignment more than work on range of motion again. Always start out real slow, and these exercises are more high level as well. So we're going to start out, Jesse's going to do the incline plane hold, and I'm going to be in the power wheel rollout position. So she's going to straighten her legs out. I'm going to be right about here with the wheel almost directly underneath me. Now she's going to pull it in, and I'm going to be out here, and then I'm pulling. Now we can make it harder for each other. And one more. Excellent. So while she can actually pull as I'm pulling, and we're both getting maximal benefit from it. So that's in the prone position for Jessie. Now she's going to flip over on her, she's already on her backside. So now she's going to do the leg curl that we were doing before, but she's going to hold it. Okay, so Jessie is going to do a power wheel leg curl, and I'm going to do the power wheel rollout again. I'm here, her hips are off the ground, her hands are just barely in front of my shoulders. Now Jessie, go ahead and pull. She's pulling, and I'm pulling back. This is the battle of the sexes. Let's go, two more. And that's good. Woo! So, that's incredible. She gets major benefit from it, and so do I. It's fun, and it's challenging. As you can see, you can do tons of different exercises with the power wheel. Have fun with it. Think outside the box with it, but maintain your alignment more important than trying stuff too far out, because that's where we can get injured, and we never want that. So really focus on the alignment, challenge yourself, and have fun and play with it. Hope you like it. The power wheel is just an awesome tool, and we've been using it like crazy here at my Monkey Bar Gym for a long time, and we've all loved it. All right, so now we've covered all the different power wheel exercises that you can do. Now what I want you to do is try some of these exercises or challenges out. We have a few tests that we do for everybody. We put them all across the globe. People from all over the internet are videotaping their power wheel 100-yard challenge. This is what I challenge for you to try and do. It's 100 yards straight, no stopping, no pausing. Can you do it? As of right now, only about 20 people in the whole country have been able to do it. It's crawling without stopping or dropping to your knees. It's a very challenging competition, and people, what you do is you just videotape yourself doing it. You put it under Monkey Bar Gym 100-yard power wheel challenge, and you put it on YouTube, and then everybody else can see you doing it. We'll put it on our website as well. Give it a whirl and tell us how you did, and we look forward to seeing your videos. Thanks a lot.
For more information on functional fitness, go to monkeybargym.com. For the Lifeline products, all of them, check out LifelineUSA.com.